Y'all, I come to the realization that after living on the East Coast for a month, I'm going to have to get a part-time job. So, y'all know I left Maryland a year ago to go to Texas. And when I was living in Texas, I was making more money. Y'all know Texas doesn't have any state income tax. And so I was able to save more money, do more things. But when I moved back here a month and a half ago, even though I'm making the same amount of money, I'm getting taxed more. And so I'm not able to put as much money away as I want to, and I'm not able to spend like I want to. So I say all that to say, I'm about to give me a part-time job. I think I want to be a bartender or go back to serving. I was doing that when I was in college. But when I moved here, I also want to ensure that I'm paying for my safety as well. So I'm paying $24.50 for a one bedroom, which is a lot of money to me, y'all. That's a lot of money. And typically I'm used to, 1600 in Houston. I was paying $2K, but in $2K, that's a lot for Houston. And you get a lot of bang for your buck. That's like valet parking. I had to bar my lobby, the bells and the whistles. But up here on the East Coast, that's just a nice, decent apartment. And I like where I live, but this economy is trash. And so in order for me to pay off my debt, in order for me to live the way that I want to live, I'm going to have to get a second job. I can't just solely rely off my main income. And I'm going to have to figure some ways to be creative to make more money. Maybe I need to start posting on TikTok more consistently. But y'all, this economy is horrendous. And I like to save money and put money into my savings, but I can't do that living the way that I'm living now. So y'all, what are some good restaurants in the DMV to apply and work at and make some money? Drop down in the comments, let me know.
But I don't agree with the whole idea that the cost of living is that much higher today than it was like 15 years ago. I do want to clarify, I'm not talking about housing. That situation's insane. But when it comes to the cost of living for everything else, I think Americans are just way too used to a ton of mini luxuries that we all have now that people just don't want to give up. I'm talking about things like $2,000 iPhones, streaming subscriptions, meal delivery. There are things like Amazon Prime and other subscriptions like that. And of course, everyone now takes a supplement or multiple supplements. Those cost money. And then the cosmetic things that people do because everyone is seen so much on social media rather than in real life. A lot of the people who need to live on a strict budget, they're just not willing to. Not to mention, the people who are struggling or say they're struggling when it comes to cost of living, these are the kind of people that would find a way to struggle in the perfect economy, like the best economy we've ever had. These people would still find a way to struggle. I'm just not willing to be gaslit into believing that things are as bad as people claim. Now, is it worse? Yeah, probably. But again, I don't think it's as bad as people claim. And no, this doesn't come from a place of privilege. I grew up poor. I was broke as an adult. I know what it's like.
It hurts my pride to post this video, but I am freaking out about money today. I absolutely know that I'm not alone. I know that a lot of the people who voted for Trump did it because they thought that he was going to lower the cost of living, and very much the opposite has happened. And when the budget bill passes, because it's probably going to, probably a 98% chance they will find a way to pass it. Even if you're not on Medicare or Medicaid, which I'm not, I have health insurance through my company, it's likely that our health insurance premiums are going to go up. And the Fed is saying that they're not going to cut interest rates anytime soon. So we are literally backed into a corner where many people are now financing their groceries. They're putting like sandwiches on layaway, bitch. I'm a lucky person who is at least living slightly above paycheck to paycheck, but I have a bunch of credit card debt that I don't know if I'm ever going to get out of. And again, it feels like shit to admit that on a public platform, but I think it's really important to understand that desperation for a lot of people leads them to a place where they will do anything to fix their circumstances. Especially for those of us that have children. And I do understand that MAGA was simply desperate for any change. And that is why Democratic Socialists always win elections, because they're addressing the actual problem for the vast majority of people, which is the affordability crisis. And now we're staring down the barrel of another fucking gun. They're going to do this again, and life is going to get more expensive, and there are more tariffs coming, and what are we supposed to do? I am sick to my stomach thinking about all of the Americans that are about to have no health insurance at all. I just don't think that people understand how many Americans are about to lose their lives.
The cost of living in Canada is literally creating homeless drug addicts, and at an alarming rate. People are losing their jobs, getting laid off, not able to find new jobs to provide for themselves and their families. And as they're becoming homeless, they are turning to substances to numb the pain, to just because they have nothing else to do all day, and because they're just surrounded by it. Like, it's actually insanely scary to me how many addicts I see nowadays just walking down the street. Like, whereas a couple of years ago there was quite a bit, but now it's just like everywhere you turn, everywhere you look, there's an addict, there's an addict, there's an addict, there's a homeless person struggling, and it's just like, it's hard to feel like it's not intentional at this point from the government. Like, what are you doing to your people, bro? Where people are struggling so badly. Like, I know that it's a choice to try drugs, but like, what else are you gonna do when you're homeless and that's all you're surrounded by, when you are being pressured into trying something? It's actually devastating, and something needs to be done. We need more help, more resources for mental health and for addictions. Yeah, my mom is staying in a shelter herself, and she's like, the amount of people who come in and they're fine, they're just struggling financially, they don't have a home, and then like the next week she sees them and they're completely drugged out on crack, on meth, they don't even know what's going on anymore, they're shouting, and it's just like, yeah. Housing needs to be more affordable. We need fucking more free healthcare, more free mental health care, and just more resources. As I said, we need therapists that are available, that are free, that are everywhere, okay? Like, this is getting insane, bro. Fucking insane. And it's just gonna keep getting worse. Lovely, lovely, love it. Thank you, government.
Housing has got so expensive and so, like, outpricing the payment for jobs. Like, for instance, the town I live in, and this is shameful. This is the state of Georgia. I think the minimum wage is still 7 and some change. 7 and some change in 2025. I was telling my husband, people have got to be roommated up and living with folks, because ain't no way that people can afford housing by themselves. How can somebody afford that? The average 2-bedroom, and let me just, put a number out there. This is probably pretty close to accurate. It's about say $9.50, $10.50, and you making 7 some an hour, and they expect people to be able to afford that? 7 something an hour. With the rate of that, you probably got to live with like maybe 2 people, because you're not counting utilities and all that. It's shameful that in any state in the union, 7 something should be the wage. No way. If that's the case, mandate that the housing costs be according to the wage, because there's no way people can afford housing by themselves for that amount of money.
Everybody's surviving off of $30,000 a year. Well, my name is Shay, and I'm from Mississippi, and the cost of living is not too expensive down here. I would say a good $30,000 a year would be able to cover all of my expenses. My light bill is between $100 to $150 a month. My water bill is $35 a month. My gas bill run me between $45 and $60 a month. My Wi-Fi is $54 a month. My cell phone bill is $55 a month. My car insurance is $213 a month, and my car note is $699.39 a month. And I think I spend about $500 to $700 a month on food, and I have a family of 4. So where do you stay at, and how much do you think you would need to survive in the area that you're in? Do you think you make enough, or do you think you need to make more? Are you able to survive with one job, or do you have to have multiple jobs or multiple side hustles? Let me know in the comments, because I'm curious. I'm always putting y'all in my business. I want to know a little bit of yours.
I spend $6,000 to $8,000 a month while living in Texas. So let me give you a breakdown on what those things are. The house where I lived at was $2,100 a month, all in all, with bills, utilities, lawn service, etc., replenishing toilet paper. It came out to about $3,000 per month. The other apartment that I own is about $1,500 per month with bills, utilities, etc. It's about $1,800 per month. My car note is $500 per month. It is like a 2021 Nissan something. I pay about $150 a month for full coverage insurance for my car. I also pay the same amount for health insurance. For beauty maintenance, which is hair care, nails, lashes, my Pilates membership, Botox, whatever, I pay about $600 a month for that. Groceries per week for one person average about $100 to $150 depending on what I'm buying. I buy organic food and like very healthy, unprocessed food as well. And then that's not factoring in shopping, clothes, things for my kids, things that come up, miscellaneous things. So all in all, it probably actually goes over $8,000 a month on something.
So I know everybody is feeling this, but how are we doing this? I am in my 30s. I have my master's in business administration. My husband is an engineer. We should be making great money and be golden when it comes to money, right? That's what I was raised thinking. And instead, just like everybody else, we are living paycheck to paycheck. Like, it is so hard. We have a house. We were lucky enough to get a house. I know a lot of people can't do that and haven't had that opportunity. But our house mortgage has gone up $400 or $500 since when we first bought it. Property taxes, they just keep going up and up. So with that, our mortgage just keeps climbing too. We have 2 kids. With kids comes diaper prices, comes formula, comes everything else that comes with it, including daycare. Daycare. We were able to find a daycare that's actually pretty inexpensive compared to a lot of other daycares. And even with that, it is still costing more than our mortgage does every month. I'm just so tired. And I know everybody is in the same boat too. Prices are going up for literally everything. Everything. But when it comes to pay, our paychecks will go up, a couple percent, but nothing compared to inflation on everything. I just don't understand how we keep doing it. And where's the breaking point? Where does that come in? When do things turn around? Because there's no end in sight. Everything that the government has put forth lately is only going to make things more expensive for us in the long run. And again, I say this knowing that we are still very privileged. We still have a lot of things that other people do not. But it's still just such a struggle. We're given this promise basically when we're younger that if you get the degree and you do this and do that right, then you'll be set, you'll be golden when it comes to money and not have to worry about it. And then to grow up and face the fact that all of that's bullshit. They fed it into being such a lie in such a trap basically that everybody is just buried in different student loans. Everybody is buried in different kinds of debt that we'll never get out of, that they promised us would create a safe and happy, thriving future. None of it's there. So thanks, boomers and beyond. You set us up great.
Y'all know how people be calling people broke? Do y'all ever think about the fact, be like, we don't live in the same state. You might live in one state, right? For example, you might live in Florida. They don't charge y'all taxes to where you got all this extra money left over, right? Compared to a person that like me, I live in Michigan. Cost of living high as fuck. Cost of living is high as fuck, y'all. And y'all, these jobs is not paying us enough to like cover your cost of living to where you always living paycheck to paycheck. That shit is hard as fuck. So I don't never like when people be online be like, oh yeah, y'all broke, you this and you that, and you don't even know the people from a can of paint. You would never know. Because let's say if you call that person, bro, let's put you in they state. Let's put you in over there where they at and see if you will survive. And that's why I don't try to talk about nobody, because like, bitch, I know how this shit can get. This shit not easy as people make it seem. Like on the internet, people make this shit seem so easy, but in real life, y'all, and people, we really got real life bills and real life problems. That shit is not what people make it seem. The cost of living, y'all, if you live in Michigan, you know the cost of living high as fuck. It is like, bitch. And then they want you to make 3 times the rent, y'all. These jobs is not paying you that shit. I work in the warehouse, y'all. And most times, if you know, you know. If you want some quick money that get paid every week, you go to a warehouse. I'm at a warehouse right now, y'all. I'm still living paycheck to paycheck because it's like, they're not paying you enough to cover what these people is charging you.
Like, it's really getting ridiculous. It's just no reason why stuff should be costing this much. Man, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm so tired of going to these stores, getting 5 items, and when you get the total, it's $100. Baby, what did I get? Baby, what did I get? Why did I only get 5 items and it's $100? Like, the grocery stores and food and water just has went up too tremendously for me. Every time they give me a total, I'm like, babe, what did I get? Because I'm confused as to what made it $100. All I got was a pack of chicken, some asparagus, some sweet potatoes, some rice cakes, and some water. That was $106. Why? I just don't understand why everything. Baby, you used to could get 100 items for $100 back in the day. I remember that. Now, that's why everybody's struggling now. Then you be like, okay, let me go out to eat. Go out to eat, spend $200 for 2 meals. So, baby, you just can't win for losing. Like, it's getting ridiculous out here. That's why people is struggling. Rent high, gas high. Baby, I got a BMW, a little two-door. It takes $65 to fill it up. Why $65 for this little car? I'm just confused. Why is rent $2,200 for a 2-bedroom? And then y'all building these apartments with these cheap material, but the rent $2,000. It's not making no sense. And then the thing that pisses me off the most, why minimum wage still $7.25? Now y'all know food done went up, gas done went up, rent done went up, but the minimum wage still $7.25? What they do that is? Hair done went up, nails done went up. Y'all, these nails right here, they not long. Y'all see them? Ain't nothing fancy for real. All she did was mix the two, a tan, a light brown, and a dark brown, and put it on there, and did a little piece of strip of gold. That's how much this was. $120. Then 3 broke within a week. Why am I paying $120 and the nails breaking within a week? I goes back. So she fixed them all for free. Why the day she fixed them, another one broke? I don't understand why everything's steady going up. Silk presses over $120, but your hair blow up 2 hours later. I'm upset and I'm frustrated. I'm tired of spending all this money. Then in Houston, you can't even drive on the interstate without toll fees. Why? Why is everything costing? You can't park nowhere. It's $40 a park. Why? Some stuff need to be free. Oh, and if you don't pay the money, your car gonna get towed and to get your car out. That's gonna be $600. I just don't understand. To drive it costs. To park it costs. To eat it costs. To drink it costs. Everything's just costing too much, and I'm just tired. I'm tired.
The cost of living alone is insane, and now petrol has increased again. Like, oh my god. They say move out, change your environment, change your mindset, but they did not say how overwhelming it can be to the extent of me crying when NEPA take light. It's funny how nobody talks about how expensive peace and privacy is, honestly. Sometimes living alone sounds cute until you realize that you have to be the electrician, the chef, the therapist, the accountant, and also you have to take care of yourself as a human being so that you can survive. Like, this is alone, this is getting out of hand, this is too much. Like, and let's not even start with the content creation on top of it. Like, girl, you have to do everything that you can as an individual to survive. 9 to 5 business, anything and everything that you know you can anyway do. If you have any tip a girl living alone can use to survive, drop it down in the comment section below. You can be helping me or helping someone out there. So I'll see you guys. Bye.
I need somebody to tell me how I'm supposed to make it in today's economy. Bro, shit's so high. You can't, it's hard to go grocery shopping. I mean, you go in the store with say $300. You ain't coming out with much. And I remember back in the day, 300. Shit, if you was shopping with that, you had a buggy full of meat, shrimp, steaks, enough, to last a while. Now, $300 might get you 6 little bags. That's pitiful, man. Something's got to change. The gas prices is still high. What happened, man? I thought Trump was gonna help us. This ain't what I expected when I voted this year, bro. Last year. That's not right. Something got to change. We can't make it.
Cost of living because of these fucking liberal parties, sorry for my language. It is absolutely disgusting how Canadian economy, cost of living, just a basic common sense, a grocery, people can't afford it. They have to cut down on few products. They have to just choose on what products that they really need to buy, not something extra at a grocery store. It is not normal for an adult can't afford just an increase of 40, 50, 60 bucks on their essential bills. And they have to cancel it. One of the shocking news that I hear often when my wife, she shares customer at her work can't afford a $35 of activation fee. Before she activates the service, she goes, ma'am, there's a $35 activation fee. They're like, oh, no, I'm sorry, I didn't know about the $35 activation fee. Credit card's maxed out, I have to wait a few days or next week. And I couldn't believe it. I'm like, there's no way. There's no way a customer can afford $35, $40 for a one-time activation fee. She goes, yeah, here's another one. Here's another one. 2, 3, 4 times per week. It's insane. It is not normal. And you know what's not normal also? Can we agree, or can you agree, that the career, the path that you chose, the money that you chose to make, and if you can't afford a 50, 60 bucks of increase of any of your bill, and you have to cancel that activation or you have to cancel that service, doing what you're doing, it doesn't work? Because if it really worked, you could be able to save and have enough money for that $35 of activation fees, or be able to afford to pay your credit card, whatever that you're struggling right now, you wouldn't have to struggle. If you're in that situation, don't be shy. Come on my messenger, Oman Shah. I'll share with you my business. I'm not going to sell it to you. I'll share with you. Come see it. Maybe it's for you. Maybe it's not for you. I don't know. But I'm willing to take the time to help you, for you to make an extra $500 or $1,000. And I'll show you a system that works since 1992. All over US, all over Canada. And on that note, have a wonderful day. Happy Mother's to everyone tomorrow. Whoever voted Liberals, even my phone's like, please don't say it. Whoever voted for the Liberals, go, please, I'm sorry, with all due respect, screw yourself.
I'm going to explain to you guys how much more expensive things are today than they were even 3 years ago, based off of my current financial situation. So 4 years ago, when I graduated law school, I graduated making $65,000 a year. I was living in a 1-bedroom by myself, paying $1,400 a month. After the first 3 months, my boyfriend moved in, and so then we were splitting it, so it was $700 a piece. But he lost his job at one point, and so for 3 months before he got a new one, I was covering the rent all by myself. So it was about 6 months of me paying $1,400 a month for that year-long lease. Now I make about $85,000 a year. I have 2 roommates, and we split the rent 3 ways. And usually my rent is like $950, something around that. So I'm making technically $20,000 more a year. I'm paying roughly the same of what I was paying in rent. And I have never been more stressed out about money in my entire life.
I need somebody to tell me why my husband went to purchase a 7-pack of underwear yesterday. He needs new underwear. Probably hasn't purchased them in like, I don't know, years. You know how it is. Tell me why that package of underwear was $42. $42. I was flabbergasted. $42 for 7 pairs of underwear. If I didn't believe before that inflation is real, I sure do now. I'm baffled.